All right, guys, we are live, and what is going on? This is the Club of the Man, 1993 country, for my once-in-a-week special live stream I try to do on any topic I want, and any topics I get suggested from my fellow loyal viewers here on YouTube as well, because I have been asking for suggestions for topics to do for my special streams weekly. Now, I do have a good list of amount of topics left that suggestions already given to me. This was not the topic for tonight's stream is not one of them. But the reason why is because there are several categories on this list that some of them I need a little more time to think about. The other ones, more so, I want to wait until after I finish my retro SummerSlam review series first, like matches or storylines and a couple other ones also. I want to wait till after I finish the SummerSlam series right through those. That way, I can make sure to include any of those matches that I enjoyed also in the list, like top 10 matches and superstars of all time and whatnot. So I just want to wait till after I finish those to that. So that's why I picked one myself tonight. And since I recently did Overpushed Superstars, which is a suggestion by my friends Dakota Byers and Lauren Hutton here on YouTube also, that was a suggestion. I thought I would do the opposite and do the top 10 sorry, I was gonna check my phone for a second. The top 10 underutilized superstars of all time in the WWE. So without further ado, let's get started. As I have my list, most of them are recent or current superstars, I'd say. I don't have anybody too far back in the past because let's face it, a good amount of them back there then was ones that were meant to get opportunities. For the most part, got the opportunities. The ones who weren't meant to do so didn't. There are a lot of people we see today in the PG era who could be booked just a lot better than they are today. So that's why I stuck with those as well. Plus, also I'm more familiar with them. So here comes my list for the top 10 underutilized superstars of all time. What's up, Hassan? He says Bayley is definitely one of them. I definitely think Bayley is. She didn't appear on my list, but I do agree that Bayley is very underutilized. Definitely, that is a good one though. So let's get right to it. We start off with my number 10, which is probably the only female superstar I have on this list, but probably one that I feel is probably the most underutilized of all the female superstars on the main roster. That, of course, is Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, you think about, she's part of the Four Horsewomen, but she's the only member of the Four Horsewomen that did not win the NXT Women's Championship. But she was brought up, strong that she was one of the superstars that didn't really need to get the NXT Women's Championship. Ever since being on the main roster, though, she's for the most part kind of been there, but given the opportunities, but she doesn't succeed. And whenever you need help putting somebody over, she's the one that seems to do so, which, for the most part is okay since she's an underdog character. But so far, they've only given her one title reign as SmackDown Live Women's Champion, which, wasn't too bad. I mean, she did have a minor injury that kept her out of action for a couple weeks, though. That's why her match at No Mercy was canceled. So they had the rematch, the actual match on an episode of SmackDown in Glasgow, Scottsdale, or wherever the heck it was. So she got that opportunity. But ever since then, she's just kind of been there. She's been thrown into a couple, multiple person, qualifying matches and whatnot. I mean, she's in Money in the Bank. She qualified for. She wasn't just picked because it was only just 5 women on the SmackDown roster last year who were able to compete in the match that they had for the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then she was thrown as being captain of the women's team, but it never really led to anything. I do see a possibility of maybe turning Becky Lynch heel, possibly down the line. I mean, it would be a shame to do so again, because once again, it'll show again that WWE can't book a purebred babyface. Even though Becky Lynch was a heel for some time on the main roster, on NXT. I'm sorry about that, but I feel like of all the women, she's one person that just is underutilized the most. She's great. She's loved by the fans. I just don't know why the WWE won't give her, a bigger push than what she already gets. So that's why she is my number 10 on this list, Becky Lynch. Revival, another one. And yeah, in Scotland, I fear will happen to Andrade. Yep, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, my number 10 is Becky Lynch. Number 9, He was released from WWE by his request in 2016 and has gone on to go on probably the run of his career in ROH and on the Indies recently. Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes, I could put him a little bit higher on this list, but I did because I feel like of everyone on this list, he did get a lot of opportunities. Well, I mean, he did, but it was mostly in the mid-card scene. I mean, some people higher up did also, but I feel like he got the most of them and made the best of them. Yeah, there was a couple times, again, like an elimination chamber match or something like that. He was like a qualifying match or something like that to definitely, get to, a world title match. But they never capitalized on making him into a main eventer. They put the Stardust gimmick on him, which was all right for the time being, but it wasn't really him. Like that's more so for Dustin Rhodes, or Goldust, as we all know him by. And he just never really seemed to really get out of like the mid card scene. He had a couple runs with the tag titles, which was good. He had a couple runs as Intercontinental Champion, which he did great in those runs. But they never gave him that main event push that he definitely deserved. So, I mean, yes, again, people higher up on this list did have gotten opportunities, certain ones. But I feel like Cody got at least, the ones, the lower card runs he got. He did great with those runs, like the tag titles or Continental title runs. But the guy could have easily been a main eventer. I mean, whether it was a baby face or a heel, they pushed him they gave him runs with both of it as a face and a heel with legacy, when him and Goldust were together and whatnot. But they never gave, like I said, keep saying, they never gave him that main event status run that he probably should have gotten. And, he left the WWE and proved to them that, he didn't need them to become, the big star that he really is. And he's just killing it out on the indies. A couple of times when ROH has come here to Pittsburgh, I've gone to see them, and he's awesome. I see this and I'm like, man, where was this in WWE? Why wouldn't the WWE let him do what he's doing right now? But, I'm happy the man got out and definitely is on his own, doing what he feels is right. And he's just making a name for himself on the Indies. So good for Cody Rhodes, but that's why he's my number 9 on this list. Turn Becky heel. I'm all in. Ha! Get these hands. Nice one, Hassan. But yeah, number 9. Number 8 on this list is a current superstar who is a champion right now, but he definitely deserves a lot better than he is right now. Even though this division has improved as of late, I'll give them credit. I mean, it's still not that great, but it's definitely a lot more intriguing to watch. But my number 8 is Cedric Alexander, the Cruiserweight champion, who is one of the very few cruiserweights that I feel is ready for more than just the cruiserweight division. But WWE has it stuck in there. If you're small, if you weigh less than 205 pounds, you're nothing but a cruiserweight. Well, for the most part, there's some who haven't gotten in there. Thank goodness. I want to stay far away from the cruiserweight division. Finn Balor and Sami Zayn. But and a few others besides that. But Cedric Alexander is much more than just a cruiserweight champion. The guy can be an Intercontinental champion. He can be a U.S. champion. Well, the Intercontinental Championship is more interesting, more prestige right now than the U.S. title. But he can be a world champion. I want to see him face, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, Andrade Cien Almas. Well, they actually had a couple matches, 1 or 2 matches, I think, down at NXT. But even a mid-card feud between them would be awesome. Him and Jeff Hardy. There's a lot of people that Cedric Alexander can easily go in there and put on a classic with. Shinsuke Nakamura, if I didn't say him. Daniel Bryan. The idea Robbie had Triple H, # game on or game over. That would be awesome as well. If the cruiserweight division wasn't how you just limited to just the cruiserweights, I would probably accept it a lot more. But since it seems like that the cruiserweights are going nowhere else besides the cruiserweight division, it's causing a lot of people to leave the company, such as Austin Aries and Neville, and probably a few others down the line. But it's like why limit them to just that division? They can do just a lot more than just fight a cruiserweight style and fight for these bigger titles and make bigger names themselves, and eventually maybe main event WrestleMania. Cedric Alexander could be a main eventer for WrestleMania if WWE would give him the chance. So that's why he's on this list for underutilized. I'm at number 8. 8 is Cedric Alexander. let's see here. Robbie, what's up? Saying, remember, Mike, game on or game over. Exactly, Robbie. So he's my number eight though, Cedric Alexander. Number 7 is a current superstar. He has gotten a couple runs with the mid-card titles, but he's the guy that WWE has continued to just recently just sabotage him and try to make fans hate him because they refuse to turn him babyface. You know, he's getting over like crazy with his Rusev Day gimmick. And of course, yes, Rusev is my number 7 for underutilized superstars of all time. You know, Rusev came up, he had like the gimmick of, he's Russian, he's an American hater, and he was just tearing up, destroying everybody in sight. Eventually became U.S. champion. It had a strong run with that from like right after Hell in a Cell till WrestleMania 31. Then, of course, who comes out of nowhere? Mr. John Cena. And Rusev beat him, but he kicked him in the balls, and he got John Cena to pass out. So in some ways, yes, it was a strong win. Cena did somewhat put over Rusev. I think it looked silly. But then that loss at WrestleMania, and then after that, the Russian chain match is all right. But then they had to have a 4th match, which didn't make any sense why I had that match at Payback, the I Quit match. And ever since then, Rusev was just a broken man. They, for no reason at all, split up. Him and Lana had this whole, love competition going back with Rusev and Summer Rae. Remember? Ruru. And then Dolph Ziggler and Lana started going out, and until, Lana got injured and Summer Rae. There was this looked like they could do something with Dolph Ziggler and Summer Rae. Maybe because Dolph Ziggler accidentally watching on Summer Rae naked. Like that whole storyline just got weird. Like where is this going? Like I didn't understand it. And then of course, I guess their engagement photos got leaked on the internet, and because of that, they had to pull the plug on that storyline, which just made it even worse. So it was going all right at first, but then it just went completely downhill after that. They put it back together, but it just haven't been the same ever since. He got kind of back on track in 2016 when he got a short run over the summer 2016 with the United States Championship. And then Roman Reigns came in, and they just, which that could have been a good mid-card feud, but it's just, it just made no sense as the reason why they feuded over. Just because Roman pushed Lana into their wedding cake or something like that. It just, the storyline just did not make sense, and it just made Rusev look like trash. For crying out loud, in that Hell in a Cell match, which that match didn't need to be Hell in a Cell. That was not a Hell in a Cell worthy match. Like a Street Fighter Falls count anywhere, sure, but Hell in a Cell, no, that match that didn't work for a Hell in a Cell match. For crying out loud, though, Rusev had the accolade on Roman Reigns with a chain around his face, and somehow Roman still broke out of it, because that's what WWE does to make Roman look strong. You gotta make him look really, really strong. No, I was just gonna freaking shit on him and beat him. Punk. But yeah, and then now he finally has like a gimmick that like he's getting a positive response from the crowd, which sounds like somebody else who you may see later on this list, guys. But of course, they continue to go out of their way to just sabotage him, throwing it against people that would need a win, or people wouldn't boo, like The Undertaker, or recently they had him face Daniel Bryan, but he won that match, and a few others. And they have like Aiden English come out and just continue to put down the crowd for supporting them pretty much. So if Rusev doesn't get a push anytime soon, I've heard rumors of him maybe leaving. And I do not blame him at all. He could go somewhere else that he will get much over than he is. I mean, the guy is entertaining. He is funny. He can talk on the microphone. Why is WWE so, stubborn on pushing him as a heel? Well, at least making him a heel, but he's not getting anywhere as a heel at this point. Is it because he's 6 feet tall, but he's 300 some pounds? He's not quite tall enough. He's not quite the big sweaty man theory that Vince McMahon has, that they're the ones that get pushed. But so yeah, that's why Rusev is on this list at my number 7. Let's see here. Didn't Eddie Guerrero cut a devastating promo regarding Ray's son Dominic? I believe he did. Once Johnny Gargano comes to the main roster, he'll be underutilized on 205 Live. I hope they don't put him on 205 Live. He probably will end up though. They do it for Roman. You should watch videos from JD from NY206. He was pinned by Jinder at WrestleMania 34. Don't remind me. Yeah. Failure Raha, definitely Hassan. Yep. But yeah, that's my number 7. We got Pirates call up Austin Meadows. Interesting. I'm going to the game tomorrow night, so I guess I'll see him then. But yes, so we have number 7 was Rusev for my list. Number 6 on my list is someone who seems to have some momentum going, but at the same time not. He's just staying in the same spot ever since he turned heel last year. And the shocking thing enough is this guy won a huge rivalry when he first came up to the main roster, but then afterwards he was on pre-shows. The guy he beat became the Universal Champion and went on to have a really flat run because he kept facing the same people every single week, and the same results kept happening in the matches he was having. So I don't understand, everything just went backwards for this guy. As I said, probably also in my my top 10 list for superstars for Raw and SmackDown that deserve offered more than they're getting. That's why it's number 6 on my list. I'm talking about Sami Zayn. Just a legendary underdog in NXT, a la Daniel Bryan. He had the great story going with Kevin Owens in NXT. Kevin Owens, put him out of action for a while. Owens just bypasses him, goes up to the main roster. Sami eventually gets back to the main roster to continue the feud. And they, again, Sami won the feud in that great match they had at Battleground in 2016. And what happens at the next show? Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho are teaming up to take on Enzo and Cass, which was meant to put over Jericho. And then because of the injury to Finn Balor, Kevin Owens would then win the Universal Championship. But then, as I said, again, he was just booked awful as Universal Champion. Sami Zayn, meanwhile, went on pre-shows. He lost to Chris Jericho. He was put in the Intercontinental Championship match at Survivor Series that year in a match against The Miz, and if he won, he brought the Intercontinental Championship to Raw, but he lost that match. And he got put on a SmackDown. I thought it was going to be a great move for him, but instead he ends up, going absolutely nowhere, having a pre-show feud with Mike Kanellis. He was pretty much treated as a jobber on SmackDown until they turned him heel and they aligned him with Kevin Owens, which, first was too bad, but I'll be honest, it's starting to get just weird because they're always teasing them splitting up. But then they mentioned recently on SmackDown that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are two people that, obviously have a history of disliking each other. However, though, they now have common enemies and common, things that they're upset about. So that's why they still continue to stick together, which, again, as I said probably the other night, is not, in reality, that's not a healthy relationship or friendship, even though that's how bad people, do it these days. But as I keep saying, Sami Zayn has not yet won a title up on the main roster. Not a tag title, the tag titles with Kevin Owens, I thought maybe they would do so. Not the U.S. or Intercontinental Championship. I mean, he had a couple WWE Championship shots earlier this year in the weird matches that him and Owens were involved with against AJ Styles, but it's time to at least, put something on him, capitalize on him, definitely. Because this guy is great on the microphone. Well, hopefully still will be after his, hopefully not career ending segment on Monday with Bobby Lashley and his sisters. Remember, guys, Bobby Lashley has 3 sisters, in case you didn't know. 3 sisters. So I just hope that, he'll probably put over Bobby Lashley in this feud. But I just really think WWE just needs to finally just capitalize on Sami Zayn and just not have him just around. Put titles on him finally, because I think he definitely deserves it. Where he's a heel or ever turning back to being a babyface again. And treating him like they should have treated him when he first came to the main roster as like the a la Daniel Bryan coming from NXT pretty much in Sami Zayn. So, which again is why Johnny Gargano, I worry for him being on the main roster. You watch, they'll turn him heel because they couldn't use him well as a babyface. Sad, but it's definitely true. But that is why he that's why he is on my list at number 6. Sami Zayn, he better win that title. Sami had a good reason for record scratch interrupts and Dolph Ziggler's theme plays. Yeah. Robert, hey, Mike, great stream so far. I'm going to be checking out NXT in a little bit, so please no spoilers from you and Hassan until I watch it. Definitely. Just an average episode. I thought it was a pretty strong episode. I thought last night's episode of NXT was. What's up, Dakota? Ty Dillinger is so underutilized. It's a shame. He could have been strong mid-card star and champion, but instead he feels like he isn't even there. Yeah, now he wasn't on my list, but he's an honorable mention definitely on Ty Dillinger. But yeah, he's just doing random crap with R-Truth now backstage. I don't get what's going on there. There were rumors for a while they were going to turn him heel on the main roster. I guess he was acting like a heel on a couple of house shows. There was a match apparently with him and Rusev on a house show before WrestleMania where it looked like that Rusev was a baby. He was a heel, and he attacked Sin Cara after a match he had also on a house show. So I don't know why they ever went through and at least gave him a try as a heel. But I agree. I mean, he could have had a great when Mr. Intercontinental Champion, he could have even had a great, mid-card feud with like The Miz maybe or something like that. But they've done nothing with him because I had a few, pre-show matches with Aiden English, which is a shame. He just got so hot in NXT those last 6 months he was there. And then they bring him to the main roster, and he's just a certified jobber for life, pretty much, unfortunately. Yep. But wasn't he getting a push? I thought Ty was supposed to turn heel. He needs it. He could, but WWE also couldn't book him as a good purebred babyface on the main roster. And Dakota thinks Miz is going to win Money in the Bank. I would not be against it. That actually would be a very good idea, I would say. But yeah, that's why. But yeah, getting back to my number 6. So far, since we have Robbie and Dakota joining us a little late. So far on my list for underutilized superstars of all time, number 10, Becky Lynch. Number 9 is Cody Rhodes. Number 8, Cedric Alexander. Number 7 is Rusev. And number 6 is Sami Zayn. So those are my list. That's my list so far for underutilized superstars. Sami's upcoming promo better not push Sami to being released. That's what I'm worried about. A SmackDown guy has to win it because of who the Raw champion is. Oh yeah, Brock. Would you say Bobby Lashley is underutilized so far since he's only competed in tag matches? In some ways, yes. But also the fact that they need to have better promos for him. He's barely talked at all. The only thing he's mentioned is, he has 3 sisters. That's all we know about him pretty much. Like, no offense, I'm not trying to make fun of him or anything, but he's pretty much Apollo Crews. I'm not saying because of his race or anything. I'm not trying to sound racist or anything, but he had silver. Both of them can definitely wrestle. I could see them having a classic there if it was the Apollo Crews on NXT, but they have no characters, or like another Jason Jordan and whatnot. I definitely think that if given Bobby's material, like why did he come back? Like why did he leave in the first place? I mean, I've heard backstage rumors about stuff that happened, but storyline wise, why did he leave? What made him come back? Pretty much. I mean, they had a fallout. They had a fallout. Segment on YouTube of him saying he's back for unfinished business, pretty much, as wants to fulfill those dream matches, pretty much. But other than that, he's just been in tag matches and not really doing much of anything at all. And like you're saying, I'm worried that this promo with him and Sami Zayn coming up next Monday could be a career killer. I feel it could possibly happen again. I just smell this is your life again, even though, once again, I keep saying I never saw that segment and I never will to this day. I've been tempted to look it up a couple times, but I'm not going to pull the trigger, guys. I can pinky promise you guys. See? Pinky promise. I will not pull that trigger. Let's see. What else do we got here? Ha! And as Robbie would say, Bexplex City, bitch, is Dolph here. He's an honorable mention, but I didn't put him on his list. So he'll probably come out and cut a promo Monday and interrupt Sami. Son agreed to Dakota, and he better not fail like Corbin did last year. He better not, definitely. He'll probably come out and say, Sami, you better get better shut the hell up before you get your ass beat, like he always said in TNA, maybe. One thing they can do is have a Lashley John Cena rematch and Cena beat him in 2007, and Lashley wants a shot at redemption. I mean, that's a basic story right there. being written by, once again, the genius, hashtag please sign Robbie. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that again. To pull out, one of Daniel Bryan's lines. You're a genius, Robbie. That's why I like you. Once again, as always, hashtag please sign Robbie. I'll make sure to promote you at the end. We need Robbie ice cream bars. I can go over some ice cream right now. What time is it? It's past 9 o'clock. Bruce is probably closed. I'll have to get them soon. Maybe I'll get some ice cream tomorrow night when I go to the game. Pirates Berry Treasure, so good. If you guys are ever in Pittsburgh and go to PNC Park, get the Pirates. I'm sorry, it's not called that anymore. It's called the Paraclaws ice cream at the Sweet Spot. Very good ice cream. Highly recommend it. Anyways, enough about ice cream. And the match against Cena was Lashley's last singles pay-per-view match in WWE. Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that. Well, I would watch highlights from that match. Thank you guys. As always, with a lot of chat. But let's start getting to the top 5 now for my underutilized superstars list. My number 5 on this list is the first ever Universal Champion, Finn Balor. Finn Balor got called up to the main roster right when the brand split first returned. He was one of the top 5 for picks for Raw, and immediately he was given this rocket ship push, and he won the debuting Universal Championship, or the debuting fruit roll-up against Seth Rollins. The match again was great, but it got crapped on because all people kept doing was just crapping on the championship the whole match. And unfortunately, Finn Balor got hurt. It was an accident. I don't blame Seth at all. It was an accident. It happens. And because of that, he had to relinquish the title. He came back the night after WrestleMania 33, and he hasn't gotten his rematch yet. He's had to compete in, number 1 contenders matches. He's going to be in Money in the Bank this year. Yeah, I'm sure other people got, no offense to me, I love the guy, but when Seth Rollins came back from injury in 2016, he got his rematch in the next pay-per-view. So why couldn't Finn Balor get his rematch? Why wasn't he first to get his rematch? You had to have a fatal 5, which, Samoa Joe, don't get me wrong, deserved it again. Remember, right before we started our live stream, when I was catching up on Extreme Rules, you guys, Robbie, Gene, and them were imitating the way I reacted when Joe won. I can't remember how it went now, but I was surprised that Joe won. But why isn't Finn Balor getting his rematch? Ever since then, he had a which was all right and just a Raw feud with Elias, and then he feuded with Bray Wyatt. And at the time, a Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt feud sounded pretty good to me. They could have taken Robbie's idea and eventually had Bray Wyatt try to bring in the inner demon of Finn Balor, having the demon just overtake Finn Balor, eventually to a double turn with Balor getting back on top, becoming the champion, and then Bray Wyatt becoming a top babyface by admitting, again, this is all from Robbie's idea, that he made a mistake in creating this monster, and now it's his opportunity to slay the monster at WrestleMania by having a Universal title match between Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. But nope, it was just constant repetition of just the same thing every week. You couldn't beat me as a man, but you beat me as a demon. So have a man-to-man match, this random thing to Pumpkin Demon and Bray Wyatt and Drag Sister Abigail. Again, as I said many times, could you imagine if that match happened? Again, never would want to see Bray Wyatt sick or anything, but Bray Wyatt, again, getting sick was probably the best thing that happened to him. Because we saw a great B-show pay-per-view match between AJ Styles and Finn Balor, which was a good match, but I know they can do even better at WrestleMania or SummerSlam or even a Royal Rumble match or whatnot would be awesome. But let's save them. But yeah, so Finn Balor, yes, they put him into the Intercontinental title feud. Yes, he's being in Money in the Bank, but it's time we also capitalize on him also and give him some type of opportunity. I can still see him as a possibility. There's just a lot. There's 3 people I could definitely see turning heel very soon. Dean Ambrose, probably a definite. Jason Jordan, most likely. And Finn Balor, which, yes, that is a lot. So maybe since the Balor Club has been, moved over to SmackDown, maybe they'll hold off unfit Balor, at least turning heel, because there'd be too many big time heels on Raw unless they turn a few baby faces. I don't know who else they would turn. But yeah, so definitely another underutilized wrestler who is the icon. What? Oh, I got completely lost. Anyways, he was the icon in NXT, and now he's just somewhat there, but not complete flop, but definitely set the stakes very high for him, and then he's just right back down to mid card level again. But yeah, so that's my number 5, Finn Balor. Let's see here. R-Truth Disneyland. No. Crunchy, creamy, soft baked Zelina Vega ice. Crunchy, creamy, soft baked Zelina Vega ice cream flavor. All day, you know it. The Universal Championship is Eva's best friend. The fruit roll-up aura is part of Shinsuke Nakamura's jacket wrapped around the championship belt, I'll say too. R-Truth is a 2-time hardcore champion, tag team champion, and a U.S. champion, LOL. Where did that R-Truth go to? He even main event against Cena, at 2011 Capital Punishment. That heel run he had wasn't too bad. That's the only time he actually really felt relevant, but then he got suspended for violating the wellness policy. I think I heard rumors they were supposed to win the tag titles, Miz and Truth, but then since Truth got suspended for the violating the wellness policy, that all got thrown out the window, unfortunately. Yeah, but you said they gave it to Joe. Yes, that's how my reaction was. Dakota said Hassan said Dakota he put over Super Cena. Yes, he did. What if, Mike, maybe WWE will see this idea by me, have Rollins win the Universal title at SummerSlam, and then Roman comes out, congratulates him, then attacks him out of jealousy. Would be great, but to the WWE, that's too good, and they wouldn't pull the trigger on that, Dakota. It's too good of an idea to do. They can't do it. They have to make Roman be so well liked, even though no matter what happens, they're not going to pull the trigger on that. But that is a good idea, though. I do like that, because Rollins beat Lesnar in 1 try, and Reigns couldn't beat him in 2. Exactly. Raw had Muppets and Scooby-Doo, man. Yeah, they ruined WWE women's photo shoots in SummerSkin 2008. A good way to turn Roman heel. Hashtag, as I gotta say, Sonny no speak English. As Nakamura would say. Hi, Lauren. R-Truth should have turned heel again instead of Goldust. I mean, he could have. I mean, what if they were done with him at this point? I thought it went too late. I mean, I enjoyed the brief heel. Well, the promos they had last year with R-Truth and Goldust, the whole director's cut promos. I mean, I enjoyed those again. I was trying to figure out some type of small series segments to do on his channel, just doing parodies of those Goldust promos. I thought they were pretty awesome. I loved them, but then after, of course, him and Truth had just a couple boring matches on Raw, and then they went nowhere else with them afterwards. But they could have tried with R-Truth turning heel, but I don't think it would have helped at all. Sorry I'm late, but I'm on my last break at work. Oh, geez. Wow. That sucks. Did you hear Raw is still going to be on USA while SmackDown moved? Yeah, I also heard rumor that SmackDown may go to 3 hours. Too much content. In fact, SmackDown's roster is smaller than Raw's, so how would you be able to fill 3 hours? 2 hours is enough. Raw needs to go back to 2 hours. Raw needs to go to Fox or whatever, since they said that Raw probably went 2 hours. It's USA who wanted Raw to go to 3 hours. But yeah, that's ridiculous. Wi-Fi very bad here. That sucks. Man. Dakota says, no one has ever kicked out of the curb stomp. I don't think that anybody has either. Lauren says, I'll catch this later. Sorry to leave so soon. No worries, Lauren. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you later. But Raw 3 hours makes it unfair to SmackDown. Exactly, yeah. That's why I think Raw's got to 2 hours. Lauren also loved Heel Our Truth. Then we all did. And I heard that Orton and Jeff are injured. It would only be fair if they did. WWE is dead. It's getting there pretty much. As long as they're both the same amount. That's why Raw has a better chance to get more ratings. The same amount of hours that Raw and SmackDown has. SmackDown should keep beating Raw in ratings. Sadly, it's not. I wish it was, though, because, of course, here's the problem, though. Once SmackDown Live starts being Raw in ratings, then they'll go back to trying to sabotage SmackDown again. But, of course, what else is new with that? They'll continue to do that anyways. What's the top 10 suggestion, Lauren? I could use some more. Definitely. As I said at the beginning of the stream before you guys came on, I do have like the ones that I suggested on my list, but most of them I want to wait until after I finish my SummerSlam Retro Review series, because I want to be able to include some matches or like any other segments in there as well, and some of them as well. But I definitely am up for suggestions. Top 10 SmackDown Live and Raw moments. Okay, I will definitely add that to the list right now. Top 10 Raw moments, top 10 SmackDown Live moments. Got it. Hell, the Cruiserweight 205 Live is better than Raw. Pretty much. Hassan says, I prefer Raw, but they shouldn't butcher SmackDown Live like this. No, definitely. But, once again, Vince McMahon and a lot of people in WWE think that, the WWE is the place, like the highest you can get in this industry, and no, you can't get any better than this. So they feel they have the power to do whatever they want. That's why I call it more Vince McMahon's playground. He does whatever he wants. He pushes whatever superstar he wants. He buries whatever superstar he wants, and that's just the sad truth. That and that's the sad truth how it is. They shouldn't. The Cruiserweight should have been on both brands. I'm cool. I'm fine with that. Sorry, no speak English, as Lauren would say. And hey, I'll catch you later. Okay, Lauren, I'll talk to you later. Mike, do you think making Raw and SmackDown an hour each might finally help the company and put on a better product, or is it just too good for WWE to capitalize? Probably too good for it to capitalize on that. New Japan is trying to challenge WWE in ratings. Ain't going to happen. I mean, no offense. I kind of hope they would, because if the WWE would get competition again, then they would probably finally get their act together and take things seriously, and just put on some good shows once again, for crying out loud, like we did back in the Attitude Era and whatnot. Just because I'm a fan and a mark, I want to see WWE Shop release a no speak English shirt for Nakamura. That would be a good idea. I would actually consider buying that, definitely. It would be one of those shirts that would be good for, like, someone very grumpy or something like that to wear. But, yep, thank you guys for the stuff in the live chat. I feel the Cruiser Division is higher in ratings since Cedric became champ. That and Triple H taking over also. Keep your stuff coming in the live chat, though, guys. I will continue on with this video as we just talked about Finn Balor. Speaking of Cruiserweights, number 4 on my list is the former King of the Cruiserweights, Neville. Neville was someone else who was legendary in NXT. This guy was small, but he was one of the best high flyers, definitely, the WWE has had in quite some time, I'd say. And he came to the main roster. Well, he was Adrian Neville in NXT. He came to the main roster as just Neville, which I could forgive. Racked up some wins at first, but he feuded with Bad News Barrett. And then he was in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. And then afterwards, what happened to him? I'm trying to think. After Money in the Bank, it was Battleground. I don't think he was on that show. He wasn't really used that much after that at all. And after the draft happened, he was put on the Raw, and he was like not seen for how long. And that's when, I went to Roadblock in line, my good friend, Daniel Gaiza, as Rob once called him, the realest Gaiza in the room. How you doing? And, which also, by the way, remember, he's innocent, guys. And you can't teach that. But, so he took a sign literally there with a milk cart and a picture of Neville saying, have you seen Neville? And sure enough, Neville returned at Roadblock end of the line, turned heel, put him in the Cruiser Division. I'm like, okay, this is, his spot. And he did just that. He carried that Cruiserweight division And I'm thinking, okay, they're going to build up somebody very strong to take that title off of. Akira Tozawa wasn't a bad choice, but then they gave Tozawa the title for like 6 days and put it right back on him at SummerSlam. That made absolutely no sense. And then they had him drop it to Enzo Amore, who's not even a cruiserweight. And as I said in my response to Enzo Amore being declared innocent yesterday or 2 days ago, if the WWE really did dislike Enzo that much, then why did they go out of their way to make him the top heel and put a championship on him? It pretty much just proved us even more to how much Vince McMahon and the WWE thought of the cruiserweight division. That's just nothing but a complete joke. Like that's all that's symbolized. And Neville walked out after the WWE wanted him to lose to him again on Raw. Because like Austin Aries and a few others who, left because of the cruiserweight division, he was going to be going nowhere afterwards. After that, like they weren't going to probably move him to SmackDown or Raw. Probably had no intentions to. So Neville has moved back to England. I mean, I thought maybe they were surprised to have him return in England on Raw when Jinder Mahal was written out of the match. Of course, ended up going to Kevin Owens, which that was a letdown, definitely. But yeah, so I really didn't disappoint. Neville could have been, I still get wondered, even though as somebody probably has said this before me, I agree. I wonder if Neville was supposed to win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 32 since Zack Ryder won, and Zack Ryder replaced Neville in that match. But then again, would they have given Neville a long run with the title, or would they have had him drop it to The Miz the next night on Raw, just like Zack Ryder did? But yeah, another Underutilized suit. Could have been, an Intercontinental champion. Heck, he could have even been a world champion also, but they never capitalized him, and he just was never used well at all on the main roster. So our number 4 is Neville. Let's see here. Let's see here. Is that why in the mid-2000s they were better because TNA challenged them? No idea. I'm hearing rumors that CM Punk may show up at Money in the Bank. Chris Jericho let it slip. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I'm not getting my hopes anymore. Neville teaming up with the Green Arrow to face Wade Barrett and Stardust at SummerSlam 2015. I remember that. That was good for what it was. Anyone want AJ Styles versus CM Punk? I'd love to see that match if it could happen. And I mean, speaking of Enzo, the best thing to do if WWE hired him is to unite him with Cass as a heel tag team and have them feud with Daniel Bryan. Could definitely add some more to this feud also with him and Cass, which isn't going too bad so far, I'd say. Not the greatest, but not too bad. But, I mean, as I keep saying, I still to this day really thought it was going to be Enzo and Cass turning heel and attacking the Hardy Boys instead of Sheamus and Cesaro like they did last year. But again, it's worked out great for the Bar in the long run. But I just still to this day think that the Hardy Boys didn't return. That match, WrestleMania 33, was theirs to win, I thought, in my opinion. But instead, they split them up, which, as I keep saying, the stuff that Cass said in the promo was all true when he turned on Enzo. But it's just a shame. It's like a year ago, they were the most popular thing in NXT. They brought the main roster, and they just made Enzo to be extremely annoying, which also the reason why I'm scared for this promo on Monday for Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley. I don't want Sami Zayn to become the next Enzo Amore, pretty much, if you know what I mean. But I love this Red Arrow. I first knew Neville when I was on SmackDown Live in 2013 when he was in NXT and he wrestled a dark match. That's when I saw him win with the Red Arrow, and I liked him so much. He was awesome. That I hated when he turned heel at first, but I got used to it and understood why. It really did work for him. Is Cedric the most popular cruiserweight since Neville left? Probably, most likely. WWE should have never let Rich Swann go. He was talented. He was innocent also. Yeah, true. Well, I mean, it seemed like, I didn't hear this. I thought I heard that, him and his wife or girlfriend, whoever it was, did, come to better terms on it, and charges were not filed against him pretty much. But yeah, I do definitely miss Rich Swann also. I liked him also. He had problems with his girlfriend of his. Did you see the thing with Rich Swann when he said that him winning the Cruiserweight Championship was for his mom because he lost his mom and dad when he was really young. Yes, I remember seeing that. Was proven innocent when his girlfriend lied. Remember that. Okay, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Continuing on with this, let's get into the top 3 now. So far, we've got Becky, Cody, Cedric, Rusev, Sammy, Finn, and Neville. Number 3 is also a superstar who was released by the WWE in 2016. And he was part of a tag team for a while with somebody else on this list who was released around the same time as him for a little bit. And then he was Mr. Money in the Bank. And then it was like the person who beat him when he cashed in, he failed. And after that, he started just, doing these character imitations and everything. And then he was given one that wasn't supposed to get him over, but it did. And he had all the momentum to become one of the next biggest baby faces on the main roster. And then the WWE went absolutely nowhere with him. And of course, I'm talking about Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow, again, as I said, he was part of Team Rhodes Scholars with Cody Rhodes when he first came up to the main roster. They split them up whenever, because I listened to an interview with, Aaron Stevens, real life, Damien Sandow, an interview, talk about his release and other things that happened there. And he talked about that Money in the Bank ladder match where he won the contract. And he pointed out that everyone in that match, going into that match, was a heel in that match. And the thing that they wanted to accomplish in that match was they wanted Cody to get over with the crowd, and they wanted to pretty much turn Cody face there and have the crowd get behind him and think he was going to win. And then he was going to, come in, just, ruin that moment for him. And that's when they led to their feud. They had the match at SummerSlam 2013, which I want to go back and watch sometime soon. And then he failed his cash into John Cena, but he just pretty much just walked out there and just challenged him to a match and threw, the contract there. He didn't, and he lost. And ever since then, he just lost and lost and lost and lost. He came out dressed up as, all these different characters, which he himself admitted that he felt that he's got the reaction he deserved. But I'm thinking, dude, you were so much better than that. And then in 2015, he became the Miz's stunt double, which got him over. The crowd was behind him, and they loved him. And you're having a guy like, the Miz, who, is great at, hating on him because he's a great effective heel, which, again, as I said, I became more a fan of the Miz because he's great on the microphone and everything. At first, I thought, he's just a typical bad guy who talks trash. But now I take him more seriously. But he was able to put Damien Mizdow over. And yes, I was cool with him, losing the match for the Miz brand because Damien Sandow could go on to prove to the Miz that he can be his own self and be more successful than him. He doesn't need the whole Mizdow gimmick. And then they try to make him Macho Mandow and then Axelmania with Curtis Axel. Well, then that whole thing got the plug pulled on it because that's around the time where Hogan was fired because of that sex tape or whatever the heck it was. They had to pull the plug on that. And we didn't see Sandow again until I think it was a pre-show match for the Royal Rumble in 2016 where they had like a fatal four-way of 4 teams. I think it was Mizdow and Sandow and Young taking on the teams of Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, the Ascension, and the Dudley Boys. And the winning team would take the last 2 spots available, that we knew of, in the Royal Rumble match. And then they just never booked him the same. He should have won. I felt, though, even though it probably would not let anything. Like I still thought he picked him to win the Honorary Giant Royal Battle Royal at WrestleMania 31. But yeah, they did nothing with him, and then he eventually got released with a bunch of other superstars, and other ones we mentioned on this list here very soon. Wink, wink. So yeah, definitely very underutilized. Again, the crowd just loved him. He had all the momentum, coming out of 2015, going into 2016, and then the WWE did absolutely nothing with him, even though they could have. He had a good new theme song, that Hallelujah Rock mix. That was awesome. Just another star that definitely, WWE just did not capitalize on it all, who had all the potential to be great. And the guy was very knowledgeable. Again, if I could ever find it again, I'll definitely listen to it again. But it was some podcast with he was being interviewed, just talk about what's going on for him next. And I really enjoyed listening to what he had to say. He had a very positive outlook on his experience with WWE, but I still felt he definitely deserved a lot better. Number 3 is Damien Sandow. Let's see here. Rich Swann's girlfriend actually wrestles in TNA as Su Yung, the Undead Bride. Let's hope Drake Maverick and Triple H make 205 Live great. And well, it's off to a good start so far. Yep, Sandow. Dakota thought it was going to be Wade Barrett. Vince hated him. Sandow. Cody turned face after that match. Yes. As I said before, Sandow was saying how the objective was to turn Cody Rhodes face and get the crowd behind Cody in the match. Bad news bears another U.S. talent. He had not gotten injured on 2014. I think he would have had an amazing run of the IC title, definitely. But the WWE title Money in the Bank match won by Orton had all babyface, even though Kane was taken out. Yeah, it is true that did have there. Well, Orton was also on the verge of a heel turn, also. So I mean, it kind of was balanced out, but it was a good dynamic to try to overcome. Though I was just pointing out about what Sandow saying, how it was all heels, but they were trying to get a certain person, the 7 had in mind. They were trying to get that reaction out of them. Cena says he never gives up. Ask Kurt Angle about that. He made him tap. That is true. RVD, sure, let's see him back. I thought it was when Hulk called Velveteen Dream a smark. He did. I don't remember that. I'm not sure what race Ricochet is. That was before Cena became up, broken, delete. I love watching Ricochet. That backflip up the ladder was amazing. Ricochet is awesome. I cannot wait to see it as him and Velveteen Dream actually have a full match at not WrestleMania. Well, it is a WrestleMania worthy match, but TakeOver Chicago too. That will be an awesome match, definitely. Yeah, good stuff in the live chat, guys. But my number 3 is Damien Sandow. Number 2 on this list is a superstar who is still active on the main roster. He's part of a tag team. And he is probably the one person out of everybody that should have had a world championship shot by now. By far. Been in a singles feud for a world title. I thought he was going to get it back in 2016 when he had a certain best of 7 series with the guy who he's having his tag partner right now. Instead of them being a tag team, which has worked out in the long run. But how many times has he been in that situation, though? When are they going to finally get him up to the main roster status? And, I don't know. Yes, I understand, he probably doesn't cut the best promos, but, the guy is just unreal in the ring. Cesaro. This guy, I became a fan of Cesaro when he got put into the Elimination Chamber match in 2014. I really caught on to him. I just thought, man, this guy is amazing. He can wrestle any style match. He's strong. He's agile. He's quick. He's athletic. It's just, he's one of those guys I felt the WWE need to get this guy a main event push, definitely. And I thought that was the case going to happen when they split him and Jack Swagger up, and they put him with Paul Heyman. But then they inserted RVD into their feud, and they had a triple threat elimination match at Extreme Rules. And then he constantly would lose the U.S. title matches he had with Sheamus, and then they just weren't going anywhere with him. And then they abruptly, which I thought it could have led to a match with him and Brock Lesnar. That would have been awesome. Having face Brock for the championship eventually down line. Even just a singles match between the two of them. Hopefully they would have pulled the trigger and had Cesaro win, which I don't trust that since CM Punk didn't beat Brock Lesnar. But what pissed me off more was recently on It's a Shoot, which shares small clips of interviews with superstars. Paul Heyman was interviewed, and he came out and told us that he pretty much said the only reason why he was put with Cesaro after WrestleMania 30 was because they felt that they needed to follow up with the idea of Brock Lesnar being the Undertaker. And just for Paul Heyman to go away on another hiatus with Brock Lesnar, they wouldn't be following up on the story. So they had to have a reason for Paul Heyman just to come out every week and just constantly remind us that, as he would say, my client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the Undertaker's undefeated streak. So they put Cesaro with him. And then after they thought they got all out, that's when they split them up. That's the only reason why Cesaro was put with Paul Heyman, just so he can constantly remind us about that. I mean, I understand they maybe were trying to, gain some more, publicity and have help Vince recognize Cesaro more. But sadly, it didn't work. I mean, no offense, but Sheamus didn't really need to have the U.S. title at the time. I mean, I think they put the U.S. title on him, though, because he won it in that Battle Royale because it was when Ambrose was U.S. champion. I forget that all the time because Ambrose never defended that title U.S. champion. I remember when, I think it was that Payback where Sheamus and Cesaro had a U.S. title match. I'm like, wow, this hell actually has defended? Since when? But Sheamus won that Battle Royale. But I think is that they were planning on trying to turn Sheamus heel at the time, but they put that on hold for the time being, and they didn't turn him heel. But I think that, either way, he didn't need to be U.S. champion. Cesaro should have won the U.S. title off them at Payback, and even months later, they faced off again in Night of Champions. But what's WWE waiting for? Yes, I understand. Again, he doesn't have the best promos, but the guy is awesome. The crowd loves him. He had the freaking Cesaro section going, of course, before he turned heel, and it's kind of died down that little. But still, this guy should have been a world champion. If you want to see another great match by Cesaro, I recommend going back and finding on Raw I think especially the second one was I like better. The 2 matches he had in the John Cena's United States Open Challenge in 2015. Amazing matches. And that's where the best was definitely brought out of Cesaro in those matches. This guy could be a world champion, a great world champion. WWE just won't pull the trigger on him. But that's why he is my number 2 on this list, Cesaro, as most underutilized of all time. So before we go, I want to check the live chat again. Overpowered. Ricochet is probably the best high flyer, and he's a good mat wrestler too. Yes, definitely, I agree. Cesaro is number 1. Roman Reigns, no, and no, it's not Shinsuke, and it's not Cass. It's not Braun Strowman. It's not Ty Dillinger. It's not Bobby Roode. And yes, Cesaro did beat Orton clean. Cesaro will never be WWE champion because Vince hates him. Well, you know what, Vince, screw you. Mike, do you think you'll do a video about 2 women's title matches happening at Money in the Bank and which challenger may be in more jeopardy career-wise from a loss? Didn't really think of it that way, since, the 2 title matches so far for Money in the Bank are definitely, somewhat interesting. But again, I still feel too soon for definitely, both the women's. I still feel, it's too soon for Ronda Rousey going after the women's championship. And Asuka also because, she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania. So how's she get another opportunity? Again, her character was based around winning. Now what is her character based around. They didn't really establish anything new with her since she moved over to SmackDown and putting her in a couple tag matches, I felt. Something to think about, definitely. Everything this Bayley. Vince did kill Bayley, definitely. Made her looking like just a toddler instead of just like someone who, is, a fangirl, but she knows how to be serious and whatnot. Just watch her build her second match with Asuka, and yes, Vince hates Sandow. Carmella, the female version of Marne Maharaja. I wouldn't quite compare Carmella to gender yet, because I do like Carmella. But I do agree she's not definitely one of the best in the ring to be a champion. My number 1, though, you guys ready? Well, of course, let's go back quickly and just recap who we got so far. Number 10, Becky Lynch. Number 9, Cody Rhodes. Number 8, Cedric Alexander. Number 7, Rusev. Number 6, Sami Zayn. Number 5, Finn Balor. Number 4, Neville. Number 3, Damian Sandow. Number 2, Cesaro. All right. My number 1, let's see here, is number 1, both Catwoman and Poison Ivy. The Iconics. WWE needs to turn Bayley heel. to revitalize her, they could go for it. I wouldn't mind seeing it give a try. Some thinks it's a Dolph and the Order Revival. I mean, those are definitely good picks. I almost put Dolph on this list, but I don't know why I didn't put him on this list. But he was definitely close, definitely a close honorable mention. Dolph is underpushed. Well, I mean, he is starting to get some. I mean, I am enjoying what they're doing with him and Drew McIntyre right now, so maybe he'll revive there a little bit. My number one has only been mentioned one time, I believe, in the live chat tonight. I will not look at the live chat as I talk about my number one. Actually, I have this person's shirt. I will go grab it so you guys can see my number one is. Let's see here. Where is it? Crosby, Steel City, Pirates, House Black. Aha! Found it. Get my British accent ready. If I didn't give it away already. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. That's right. My number one on my list for the top 10 underutilized superstars of all time, which I got to add of all time in the title of this video after I finish it, is Wade Barrett, or also known as Bad News Barrett. And we don't want to talk about King Barrett because that was a terrible run. But yes, my number one, my honest opinion, the most underutilized superstar of all time is Wade Barrett. Where do I start with Wade Barrett? He won season 1 of NXT, brought in was leader of the Nexus, a very dominating, dominating stable. They made their mark known very well when they first debuted on Raw. In that open challenge match, John Cena and CM Punk for the WWE Championship. They made a bold statement, and they had the biggest opportunity to definitely, get to the next level with a big win at SummerSlam in 2010. Unfortunately, though, that was not the case, as John Cena was the sole survivor for Team WWE, as he took out, I believe the last two were Justin Gabriel and then Wade Barrett. So then the feud continued, though. The Nexus were still going after Cena. They had the match at Hell in a Cell, where if John Cena lost, he joined Nexus, but if Wade Barrett lost, then Nexus was gone. But so I think it was Curtis Axel, it was Michael McGillicuddy, off of, a cheap shot whenever the referee wasn't looking, won the match. Cena joined the Nexus, but of course the typical, John Cena's going to a bad position here, but they still, treat him like, the superhero man. They still super Cena'd him pretty much. And he eventually did get his job back because he just played the mind games with Wade Barrett, which, he never lost jobs. He showed up every edition of Raw anyways, just to torment the leaders of the Nexus, and then buried Wade Barrett under a bunch of chairs. And after that, Wade never recovered. He then, that's when, the new Nexus was formed, but then some part of the Nexus went to SmackDown Live, and they formed the Core, which that was just a flat stable. They eventually split up. He had a couple runs with the Intercontinental Championship, which were all right, even though injuries cut him short a few times. But, he should have been world champion. And I mentioned also in one of my reviews this week, as Daniel Bryan mentioned in his documentary, he mentioned that at first WWE was planning on having Wade Barrett win the 2011 SmackDown Money in the Bank briefcase. But since they were so stuck on having Del Rio win the Raw briefcase, they thought that would have been a little too similar, having two heels win the briefcase. So they put it on Daniel Bryan instead, which still worked out for him. But I wonder how it would have also helped Wade Barrett's, even though Daniel Bryan's career may not have escalated from being Mr. Money in the Bank either. So it's 50-50 right there. But it never got him out of the that mid-card spot. And yes, like Cody Rhodes, he had a couple, successful runs in the mid-card spot, but not as much as Cody. He's a guy that had this main event written all over him. He was injured. He brought out the bad news gimmick. People loved it. But of course, it was getting a positive response. So Vince was just so stuck on keeping him a top heel. He even mentioned himself to Vince, like, hey, like, why don't we just give it a try? I've never been a babyface before. Let's see, how this goes. But Vince didn't want to pull the trigger on it. So then he was Bad News Bear, who didn't cut promos. I remember one week they actually had some backstage segment called B&Z, Bad News Zone. And I'm like, what is this? And that's when I first stopped doing the whole, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. And then with the League of Nations, I thought maybe, a stable with him and Sheamus and then would help, but it just didn't work out at all. They always made it obvious that he was the weakest link of the four of them. He was just somebody who had main event status written all over him, like from the beginning. And the WWE just never gave him the shot. As he said, the reason why the Nexus lost at SummerSlam 2010 was because for the kids, SummerSlam had to have a happy ending. That's what Vince told him. Bull crap. But yeah. And then he was released in 2016. Rumors he wasn't going to resign when he wasn't going to resign. He was released the same day. I remember all 8 who were released. I believe it was him, Sandow, Alex Riley, crap. I can't remember them all now. I have to go back and read the list again of all of them who were released. But yeah, Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, in my opinion, is number 1 for my top 10 underutilized superstars of all time. Let's see here. Dishonorable mention, Primo Barrett. Yes, I love Nexus too, so I was right when you were on number 3. You were close. You got rid of the messages on. I saw it. Raw's 6, 7, 10 ending. Yes, rank the hold on, I'll get to that. Yeah, how dumb was I for thinking it was the gentleman? You could do a rank list in your opinion of all top 20 Grand Slam champions. There is only 20. That actually isn't too bad of an idea. Let's put that one down. Top 20 Grand Slam champions. Not a bad idea. Do you know what WWE superstar has won the most titles in WWE history? Hassan or Mike? Well, we've seen that Flair had the most world titles by combined all of them. Not sure. Hassan says, I agree. Barrett should have won the WWE title. He definitely should have. Yeah, I'm not sure who probably. I would say, yeah, maybe I was thinking Triple H also. Triple H, maybe The Rock. Not sure. Definitely, just tell me in the live chat there. Edge. Oh, yeah, Edge. That's right. How could the tag titles? He had run an Intercontinental Championship. His run, I remember, at World Championships. Yeah, definitely. I should have thought about that one. Yeah, Edge is definitely. Yeah, 31 championships. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. Wish I would have been able to watch him live before because I started watching after he retired. But wow. But yeah, guys, I'll go through my list one more time, and if you have any honorable mentions, leave them in the live chat. So my list again for top 10 underutilized superstars of all time: Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes, Cedric Alexander, Rusev, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Neville, Damian Sandow, Cesaro, and Wade Barrett. That is my list. Let's see here. Jeff Hardy is 19. I started watching in 2013. Triple H has, I think, 24. Jeff Hardy is 19. Wow. Yeah, definitely. I remember when Shield Evolution reviewed, I forgot how many titles were said combined between the three of them, him, Orton, and Batista, which is definitely a lot, like 30 or 40 subtitles, I think. Wow. Just give there a minute. Anything else coming in the live chat? While I wait for anything else coming in the live chat, of course, thanks to Robbie, Dakota, Hassan, and Lauren, as always, for joining me in this live chat and continue to help this channel grow. As let me see here, I'm currently at, it won't show on here, but let me, oh, come on, why is my screen here blocking it off? Let me refresh the page here. There we go. I couldn't see Hassan's chat. That's 10 years after I started, but not much because of curfews. Yeah, curfews. Those lovely days, guys. I remember when we had curfews. What was I going to look up again? I can't remember now. Great. Oh, yeah, how many subscribers I have right now. Tia Cooper wanted me to remind you that if you count it out or get disqualified, it's still a loss. Thanks for reminding me, Robbie. I'm still thinking about, Robbie, based off of what I said you on Twitter, I am thinking about, but again, no disrespect. Oops. Oh, shit. LOL. But I'm still thinking about, because last time I sent you, Gene and Dan, that message about putting the band back together. Again, it reminded me of that promo that Kevin Nash cut in 2011, referring to the what's it called? Why he attacked Triple H recently, and the whole thing was telling us the backstory and everything. I am still thinking, because based off of what I said that in that message I sent you last night, I'm strongly considering like how you're working on a parody of the CM Punk podcast talking about the segment about the Shield, instead of turning into, I guess, a segment involving you, Dan, Gene, and I. I'm seriously thinking about doing like a parody of that promo with Kevin Nash instead, to include the Horseman brothers in there somehow. Still considering. I'm not sure when I'll do it, but maybe I'll take a stab at it. Let me see here again. Let me pull up. How many subscribers do I have? 898. Okay, I'm 2 away from 900. And again, my goal is, my next big goal is definitely 1,000. So guys, keep support my channel and subscribing. And subscribing as well. As well. Let me see here. Raven has 32 titles, but he was a hardcore champion 30 times. Now, if you didn't take a fall, and it wasn't WWE. Ruck Fools, most of them wasn't. Ruck Fools, Cena's old school 2005 T-shirt and hat. Oh yeah, this is my yard now. Oh boy, but yeah, again, thank you guys for, as always, supporting. Again, 898. Let's get 2 more, get to 900, and then let's shoot right to that big goal of 1,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd get to 1,000 subscribers, since I just do whatever I want on this channel. I didn't put this on my head, because it's just what I do. I just do this channel for fun, and I do appreciate the support I get from Dan, Gene, Robbie, Hassan, Dakota, Lauren, T and Couponer. A few others that come around here and there also. If I may have forgotten to mention, you guys, I always appreciate your guys' support, my video game supporters as well, Mountain D18, Big Mac Davis, who just made his big return to YouTube recently after a 2-year hiatus, or 3 years actually. Lightning Bolt Forever, a couple others. If I forgot your names, I apologize. Oh yeah, also Nerd Coalition. Also, I did one live stream with him as well. But yeah, I continue to keep supporting me, guys, as always. And of course, before I go off the air, I must first get my plugs as always. If you like the video, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel. Make sure to leave your comments down in the comment section below of any not just of any of your most underutilized, but also if you have any other top 10 suggestions for me to do as well. I'd be willing to bring those in as well. And as I said before, like and subscribe. You may follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirBody3. Of course, the biggest plug of them all, hashtag please sign Robbie. Get my good friend Rob1 Kenobi in the live chat. He hasn't done any for a while. I know you've been busy with your new job and whatnot, but I'm definitely suggesting you to do more fantasy booking videos because they're awesome ideas. I'm definitely waiting to hear your idea about the Bailey heel turn. I remember you mentioned something about a Cassius Ohno story for the main roster. Also, I definitely, I cannot wait to see that one as well. So I'm definitely keeping my eye out for that as well, Robbie. Of course, you said you want to make a parody of the CM Punk podcast involving the Four Horsemen, the YWC, as you call us as well. So Robbie eventually wants to, write for WWE. Actually, he doesn't eventually want to. He wants to be in the WWE to write for them now. So if you check out Robbie's channel, you like what you see, please leave this hashtag going. Get this hashtag trending on Twitter. Hashtag please sign Robbie. And also because he did a great job writing the Seth Rollins and Miz match at Backlash. Hashtag promote Tyson Kidd as well. So get those hashtags trending on YouTube as well, and we will be awesome. Let's see here. What else we got here? Triple H said he would hire Punk back if he wanted to come back. Well, that would be freaking awesome. Lesnar shooting star press. Oh, my goodness. Falling on his head. That was scary. Watch Sid Vicious fall on his leg, and it snaps right in the ring. Ugh. Be a man or sit down and be a bitch and shut your mouth. Worse than Beth Phoenix injured her ankle, costing her the Divas title. Do heel turns. Top 10 worst. I already did a top 10 for a face and heel turns already, but that is a good suggestion. Let me see here. Top 10 worst and best finishers. I do have that one. Top 10 tag teams. I got that one. Definitely best and worst. Top 10 superstars who should have won a world title. I like that one. Let me put there. Top 10 superstars who should have won a world title. I like that idea. That's a good one. Top 10 superstars who should have never been world champion. Top 10 best world champions. Pretty much, yeah. Top 10 worst. Top 10 champions and best and worst champions. Pretty much, yeah. That's a good one. And remember, guys, put your hair up and square up. Great Scott Marty. Oh, yes. Robbie, you're always giving us a bunch of good laughs in these streams as well. Of course, also Dakota and Hassan also as well. But yeah, guys, with that, I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm also going to, after this, I'm done here, I'm going to be exporting also my 1991 SummerSlam retro review, so I'll get that going again. I'm going to try to definitely pick up the pace on those as well. Well, again, as long as I get these done by the time SummerSlam comes around, I'll be good with that. And that's will be it for a while for my retro review series also. Let's see here. Hey, Mike, this Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future. Man. Yeah. All right, guys, I think I'm going to check out here. Again, make sure to always like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Again, to stay tuned for more content to come to this channel. Again, check out also my predicted match cards for NXT TakeOver Chicago 2 and Money in the Bank. As I posted those last week. I'll be back up here live for my Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and NXT reviews next week as well. A next week special live stream. Still trying to decide on what it will be, but it definitely will be coming to you guys soon. So, guys, thank you as always for support and the stuff in the live chat. Always having a good time with you guys. So until then, guys, I will see you all later. Have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you guys before Monday, have a great night. Peace out, everybody.